let's get into talking about the two different levels of instruction. All right, so anytime we do a compare and contrast, and that's kind of what I'm going to be doing, I have to think about now, do I just go through one level and talk all about that and then talk all about the other one, or do I go back and forth? And so it's like, which way do I want to do it? So today what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and forth. Okay, so I'm going to hit different topics that pertain to the different levels, but I'm going to do it so that we'll talk about beginners, then we'll talk about advanced. Okay, next topic, beginner and advanced. And that's how I'm going to do it. So I hope that makes sense to you. So let's talk about beginner versus advanced. All right, so what is a beginner? When I talk about a beginner, I'm typically talking about a kindergartner and a first grader. Yes, you can get into teaching phonograms and even penmanship and maybe even some preliminary spelling to a 4-year-old, and 3-year-olds can be learning the phonograms. I hope you caught the little video that I posted earlier this week with a family. If not, go back and look at the videos on my website where Tris teaches phonograms. And you can see Tris is there with his 2 sisters. And the little sister was 3 years old, is 3 years old. And she is at the exposure stage. You, if you catch the blooper part of the video, you see how I was trying to work with her. And right now, Mom is focused on teaching the 2 older students, and so little sister is hearing it and imitating and getting all of that sound information in her brain. So when it's her turn to sit down and actually start working on phonograms, all of that is going to be fresh, or not fresh, but it's all going to be there for her. She'll be able to pull those sound sequences from her memory. And so she'll have already been exposed to that. A beginner, kindergarten, first grade is usually what I'm talking about. Okay. And second grade is kind of an interesting time, because a second grader can fall both in the beginning or the advanced stage, depending on some different things that we're going to talk about. So just be aware, kindergarten through second can apply to beginner stage, or kindergarten through first. And I will get into that. Okay, so let me describe this student for you. This beginner may or may not have some previous reading or writing instruction. And when I say writing, I'm talking about penmanship and maybe even sentence writing. It just depends. Obviously, if a student has been taught this method in kindergarten and then you get to first grade, they have some experience, but they're still in the beginner stage. This child, the beginner, is ready to start learning the phonograms and the spelling and reading process. Their fine motor skills are adequate for quickly learning or reviewing proper penmanship skills. The pace of how we introduce penmanship varies depending on how young the child is. And I talked more about that in the teaching penmanship video, and then last week I also talked about that in the phonogram talk that I did. And the beginner is ready to make good progress in the wise spelling list and to delve into the reading process. So think of the beginner as just that. We're beginning this process of learning to read and spell. Okay, the advanced student, we assume that the student has some experience. So again, grade level, this could be second grade and above, or we could think of the student as third grade and above. And when you look in the Spelled Write and Read book, and she refers to advanced student, most of the time she is talking about third and above. But I'm going to talk to you about why I include second grade in the advanced category. So like I said, second grade could be either beginner or advanced. Okay, so let me describe the advanced student. This student has had previous writing and reading instruction, and they're continuing their study of the spelling and reading process. Okay, so they've already started. Now, they may not have had Spelled Write and Read. You might have started with something else, and now you're making the transition. It doesn't matter. It's just exposure to the spelling and reading process. Maybe you have a student who is beginning reading, and we would call advanced, but you've not actually worked on spelling. And you're like, oh, well, my child knows how to read. That's not a problem. But I really have skipped spelling and I see that that's an issue. So that's what I'm talking about. That would be considered an advanced student. Just because you've never worked on spelling doesn't mean this is a beginner. An advanced student, their penmanship skills are well established, and you might be wanting to work on transitioning to cursive if you taught manuscript from the beginning. So just understand that penmanship is not something that we have to slow down for. And an advanced student is ready to make good progress in the wise spelling lists, in their reading skills, in their reading comprehension, and in studying the English language and its roots. So that is what I'm talking about when I talk about an advanced student.